Hey, this is Marlon from the group Exile, and you're listening to the Radio Random Network. Rock on.
It's Friday, September 25th, and you're listening to Russell and Mudtooth on iHeartRadio, RadioRandomNetwork.com, and other popular streaming outlets. I'm hashtag RDM Russell Devin McLain, and my partner in crime, Mudtooth, is out this week, but will return next week. No worries, because I got a great show put together for you. I'm going to be talking news, sharing some reviews, and talking with the one and only Marlon Hargis from the legendary band Exile. So let's do it. Let's pay some bills, and when we come back, we'll take a look at some trending topics from the music world. So we'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Tune in every Tuesday at 7:05 p.m. Central Standard Time for a show created for musicians and music lovers alike. Backstage with hashtag RDM.
I just want to remind everybody that today's show is brought to you by Amazon. Whenever you shop at Amazon using the links and banners on RadioRandomNetwork.com, they kick a little bit of money back to us at no extra cost to you. And we've made it real easy for you here at the Radio Random Network. To shop with Amazon, you can just simply go to www.radiorandomnetwork.com/Amazon and do all your online shopping. Amazon has everything from books, music gear, clothes, whatever you need, Amazon has it. And when you shop with our link, RadioRandomNetwork.com/Amazon, they kick a little bit of money back to us to help with production costs, web hosting, studio time, and whatnot at no extra cost to you. So bookmark www.radiorandomnetwork.com/Amazon. And when you do your online shopping in Amazon, use our link, www.radiorandomnetwork.com/Amazon. All right, we're back. Thanks for hanging with us. Let's take a look at some trending topics from around the music world for the week of September 25th. All right, Rhonda Vincent says that Christmas time is coming early with a new holiday album featuring Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, Charlie Daniels, and the Oak Ridge Boys, and many, many more. You know, Rhonda Vincent said she's been celebrating the season all year, writing new Christmas material, then combining the new originals with the classics. The results is something unique, and it's sure to set the perfect tone for this holiday season. The six-time Grammy-nominated artist is set to reveal Christmas Time on October 30th via Upper Management Music. Among the tunes, you'll find the 12 Days of Christmas like you've never heard it before. Rhonda calls upon some of her famous country music friends to join her in the celebration, including Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, Charlie Daniels, and the Oak Ridge Boys. I can't wait to talk to Rhonda, hopefully in the next coming weeks, to find out all the good insights and behind-the-scenes stuff about this Christmas album. By the way, John Berry does know a thing or two about putting on a show, and with his upcoming tour bus series, fans are going to get a chance to see intimate performances by the chart topper while he spends his free time creatively learning music from some of his inspirations. StrictlyCountry.com has given fans a first look of what to expect with this upcoming release, as they have posted a performance video of John Berry. Pretty interesting. Matter of fact, you can check it out at RadioRandomNetwork.com/John Berry. He's covering some of the biggest country hits, including To Make You Feel My Love by Garth Brooks, Fire by Bruce Springsteen, and many others. Old John's a good guy. He's a good friend. He's been on the show before. He also does a Christmas tour, speaking of Christmas. But this here, the Tour Bus Series, is something, it's a brand new concept John's working on, and go check out that video. Hopefully we'll be talking to him shortly as well. How about this for the classic country fans? Rex Allen Jr. is going to celebrate the life of his father at the Rex Allen Days Rodeo, October 1st through 4th. And yeah, it's going to be a good old-fashioned fun to be had in the historical town of Wilcox, Arizona. And with the upcoming Rex Allen Days on October 1st through the 4th, the Western Music Weekend is commemorating its 64th anniversary and will celebrate the life and times of the Arizona cowboy Rex Allen. Kicking off the long weekend will be Rex Allen Jr., who is a member of the Western Music Hall of Fame, and he will do a celebration of his dad in a concert and a parade, and the Rex Allen Days Rodeo. Rex Allen says that Rex Allen Days features many of my dad's favorite events like rodeos, a parade, and, of course, music. Allen also states that it's his favorite weekend of the year and how lucky he is to get to celebrate and honor his dad with friends that loved him so much. All right, for more music news, info on upcoming interviews, and more, you can sign up for the official newsletter at RadioRandomNetwork.com. And as I mentioned earlier, my guest today is Mr. Marlon Hargis from the legendary band Exile. He's here to talk about the brand new book, 50 Years in Exile, the story of a band in transition. This is the second book that has been released on the band. 50 Years in Exile, the story of a band in transition. The book is by Eastern Kentucky musicologist Randy Westbrook, and I had a chance to check the book out, and I have to say, they have some amazing stories in there, some amazing things that they're talking about. Now, you know, one thing they talk about is the group's influence on music in Central Kentucky, the ups and downs and what have you and what not. Next week, I will have a full review on 50 Years in Exile, the story of a band in transition, at our blog at www.radiorandomnetwork.com. Y'all just go ahead and sign up for the newsletter, and we'll let you know when that gets launched. But with all that said, what we're going to do right now is we're going to pay a bill, and when we come back, I'm going to be talking to the one and only Marlon Hargis from the legendary band Exile. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
This is Radio Random Network. Find us on the web at www.radiorandomnetwork.com.
All right, joining me today on the Radio Random Network, he is a member of one of the most successful bands in country music history. Well, pop music, too. They crossed over a few times. I'm talking to the keyboard player, the phenomenal Mr. Marlon Hargis. Marlon, how you doing today, brother?
Hey, man, how you doing? Good to talk to y'all down in Louisiana country. Louisiana, as they say.
Yes, indeed. Do you guys get down here much?
You know, we were in, I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember what towns. We've been there a couple of times over the last couple of years. We used to spend a lot of time down there back in the 80s. One of our favorite states. I mean, talk about great people, great food. Well, what more can you ask for, really?
Oh, yes, indeed. Totally understand that. Totally understand. Well, you guys, Exile, you guys have been busy. You know, we got y'all got an album that just been, not too long ago, just been released on iTunes and Amazon. You can also find it at exile.biz. And also very excited, Mr. Randy Westbrook had just got a new book out called 50 Years of Exile. And
that's right.
It's the story of a band in transition. Now, tell me real quick, what are your thoughts on the book?
Actually, I think it's a very well written book. It's a pretty realistic book. It tells kind of all the good points and frankly some of the negative points too. When we went into this, Randy initially called me a couple of years ago, and the book was he's actually a musicologist, a professor at Eastern Kentucky University, and right. He was initially it was going to be a part of a thesis, a paper for his doctorate, and then it ended up being a book. But that was one of the things we talked about at the first. I said, look, whenever you question me, I'll tell you the truth. If you want to put it in, fine. That's just the way it is, and I think it's a very well-written book. Because he's a musicologist, he even goes into detail about a lot of the musical aspects, like he kind of reviews our album and our music. So it is a very interesting book. I don't have any problems with it at all. I've actually enjoyed reading it, enjoyed being a part of it.
Yes, indeed. Now, you were talking about some of the good parts and the negative parts. We're not going to focus on a lot of that, but were you kind of worried whenever you found out he was, kind of writing a book?
I wasn't personally, but I can't speak for everybody.
Yes, indeed.
It's interesting. We've been around a few years, obviously more than 50 years, and I have a daughter who's now grown. And when my daughter was growing up, I was always pretty forthright about my history, and I would always tell her what not to do because I've done it. So
yes, indeed.
But again, I'm not overstating the negative. I mean, we were just kind of like any other band and any other kids starting out in high school and growing up and playing music. I mean, we had a good time, but we worked hard at what we did. We took it very seriously. So no, I really wasn't particularly nervous, and I don't think any of the other guys were really. I mean, as I say, we all had a good time, but there were a lot worse bands around, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed. Now, with all of that said, I guess real quick we'll rewind back. When did you and the guys first really connect as the band?
Well, because we all started really around 1963, and I wasn't with Exile at that point. I actually joined in 73, but I was playing in other bands at that point, and we all were. We all knew each other, and as I say, we actually just started as high school kids. I don't think if you had asked me if 50 some years later I'd still be playing music, I would have thought you were an idiot. I said there's no way. So we didn't have any great long-term aspirations. I think around the time I joined the band, and not to take any credit, actually the band when I joined it, had already had a big regional following and was, successful in a regional way. And, it's probably one of the most popular bands in that part of the country. So I guess you'd say around the late 60s, the band really started, kind of gelling, as you say, and playing a lot, all over the country and really taking things seriously. So around that time period, I think we all realized we had something a little unusual going.
And I would imagine, you're talking about, if you just said 50 years ago, you wouldn't imagine you've been playing. I would imagine whenever you guys first got that first break or that first hit, I can just imagine how you feel. Can you give us that experience when you first found out that you had a hit on your hands?
Well, frankly, it was a surprise. At that point, the band had been together 15 years, so it's like that old joke, we were a 15-year overnight success, and we were just kind of playing, clubs and what they call sock hops back then, school functions, and we had recorded. We through a series of lucky experiences, we ran across a producer from England named Mike Chapman who had been very successful in Europe. And he kind of discovered us, and we had been recording a few songs, say a few years previous to Kiss You All Over, but frankly, they didn't really do much. Then when we recorded the album Mixed Emotions, Kiss You All Over was just another song on the album. I mean, I don't think I personally thought it had any more of a chance of being a hit than any other song. And, it really kind of took us by surprise. I remember one experience, one week in 78, we were literally playing in a nightclub, playing for the door money, maybe making maybe $100 a piece at that.
Right.
The song hit so quickly that the next week we were in Hollywood filming the Midnight Special.
Wow.
And things just took off. Like they say, they took off so quickly, you didn't really have time to really sort of take it in. I mean, and we were on tour with Aerosmith within another couple of weeks. So, and thinking back, I probably didn't take the time to really enjoy it as much as possible because you were just kind of overwhelmed by everything, particularly at a relatively young age. But, no, it hit really quickly, but we had worked a lot of years to get there. So we really appreciated, when it hit, and we've kept working through the years. I mean, we're heading out tonight for a long weekend. We take what we do very seriously. We have fun at it, but we take our job seriously. It's a job.
Yes, indeed. Now I'm sitting here, by the way, I'm on the website now, I'm all over the place. But I'm reading here with the Kiss You All Over period. It says, and you have a story about South Africa. Can you give us a little?
I can tell you that story. We had our manager booked us in South Africa. We were going to fly into Johannesburg, and I don't remember the year, late 70s. We flew, it was about a 20-hour flight. Now the thing is, in Europe and in other countries, we had a lot more hits than in the United States.
Right.
And we had a number of hits in South Africa, 4 or 5 big hits, but no one had bothered to tell us that.
Right.
So, we thought we were just going to, I mean, we really had no idea what really to expect, back then. Anyway, so we make about a 20-hour flight, and we're all tired and hungover.
Yeah.
After you've been on a plane for 20 some hours. So back then, that was before the planes landed out on the tarmac, and you had to walk, to get to the indoor part. And so we're walking off the plane down the stairs, and we're kind of tired and sweaty. And we look around, and there's like 3,000 or 4,000 people standing on the roof and around the airport, and we're literally looking around trying to figure out who the hell are these people? What's going on? Who are these people? Who's here? Then at a certain point, we realized they were there to see us. Because we were, and back then you didn't get a lot of American groups to go to South Africa, so it was kind of like the Beatles appearing there. But the funny thing is we didn't have a clue as to what was going on. It took us a while to figure it out, and then after that, everything went great. But it was one of those moments like, what the heck is going on here?
Yes, indeed. I mean, that was a lot. I mean, you coming off of a tour with Aerosmith, and then you don't even realize overseas that you actually have a major hit and a major following until you get in the thick of things. That's pretty cool, man. But,
it was very, very interesting. And again, we toured in Europe quite a bit, in England and Germany and all other places. And so we've had a pretty good run and got to see a lot of places and been pretty lucky, I think.
Yes, indeed, and still touring after all that time. In which, now, there's one thing I do want to ask you about. Now, you guys, you left the band and you did a few different things, but you also worked with the one and only Mr. Jerry Reed for a few years. Can you tell us what that experience was like?
Well, it was an experience. Yeah. After I just say I did leave the band in the late '80s. Jerry was a great guy. Obviously, one of the best guitar players ever, and a very interesting guy. I mean, you think of his character in movies. He's a very funny guy. Of course, he told a lot of stories, and I felt lucky to be a part of one of his bands because he always had great players. Not that I'm a great player, but it was fun to play with really great musicians, and during the years, it was great to be able to hang out with Jerry and maybe sit around on the bus or bar after the show and hear him tell all these great stories about working with Elvis and all the Smokey and the Bandit.
Mm-hmm.
Movies. It was just a cool experience and very enjoyable.
That's awesome. I mean, Jerry Reed, personally, he's one of my favorites of all time, man. Sometimes I find myself sitting on YouTube just listening to those stories, especially the one with about the time Elvis cut Guitar Man.
Oh yeah, he told that story many times.
Probably more times than you want to hear anymore.
Yeah, actually, I heard it every time on stage, but every time. But something, it's still an interesting story. Even though I would hear and tell those stories maybe hundreds of times, they were still always interesting. Well, and it was a pleasure to work with him.
Yes, indeed. And you guys, I mean, you took a break from the band, you did other things, but you guys come back together. And with that said, I mean, the longevity, really, I mean, 50 years, according to the book, you're still making albums, you're still touring, you're still working with major relevant artists such as Trace Atkins and many others. But with all of that said, do you have any advice you can give any up and coming musicians or anybody that maybe want to follow in your footsteps?
Well, it's kind of hard for me to give advice now because the music business has changed so much. And I'll be totally honest. If I were a young kid, it would be hard to get started these days. It's kind of a different thing. I think the main advice is just get out and play as much as you can. I mean, play little dives or little places, to just keep playing as a band, always be professional. I remember the first gig I played was in a little place called Renfrew Valley, Kentucky, and this was in a high school band. We were called the Savages, and this was a well-known regional place, and we got paid $4 a piece. And I remember the guy who was our quote manager at the time. He said, boys, this is your first gig you got paid for. Says you're now professional musicians, and always act like you're a professional. And that kind of stuck with me. You always have to be professional. You have to treat your fans well, because if it weren't for them, you wouldn't be here. Work hard, but the main thing is just enjoy what you're doing. If you're not enjoying it, go do something else. It should be about the music and about enjoying yourself and making other people happy. That's what it's all about.
Yes, indeed. Well, real quick, anything you want to say to the fans before we go home with the interview?
Well, it's really good to talk to you, and I'm glad that people are becoming aware of the book about us. It's a very interesting book. I think you mentioned where all you can buy it from, including our website. And we're thrilled to still be playing after all these years. Wherever you're listening from, if we come to your area, be sure and come and see us. Come say hello. And there's a lot worse jobs than being a musician and traveling around the country and enjoying yourself. So we're very blessed, and we appreciate our fans always. All
right. Mr. Marlon, thank you so much for giving us a call today here on the Radio Random Network. It was an honor and a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'll of course you've got my number. You can get in touch with me through a publicist. So I'm going to go shovel some dirt here and open up a restaurant, I guess. So
there you go.
I'm going to get out of here. It's really good to talk to you. And if you need anything else, just get in touch with me. I'll be glad to help out.
All right, Mr. Marlon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. See you.
All right. What a great interview. What a great conversation with Mr. Marlon Hargis from the band Exile. It's great to talk to a legend, get insights, get information from him. One thing I forgot was those guys toured with Aerosmith. Can you imagine how crazy it was back then going on tour with the likes of Aerosmith? They were just some good old Kentucky boys playing some music, and they had been in the game for a long time. It was great to hear the story, and I'm telling you, the book 50 Years in Exile, A Band in Transition is a must-read and a must-have. I'm going to rate it 10 out of 10. I'm going to give my full review next week on the RadioRandomNetwork.com. But with all that said, I want to give a big shout-out to Miss Kelly from Webster's Public Relations for hooking us up with that. And also, if you would like to support the Radio Random Network, it's real simple. You can rate and review the show on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. It helps with the algorithms. You can tell a friend. You can get social with us. You can find more about that at RadioRandomNetwork.com/support. Next week, we're going to be doing our giveaway for this month. We're going to be giving away that Lynyrd Skynyrd Southern Surroundings, the Ultimate Skynyrd Collection. Now, the way to win that is to sign up for the newsletter. When you sign up for the newsletter, you're automatically entered in our monthly contest and giveaways for life. So that's a great deal. Be sure and go do that. And we won't be spamming nobody or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about that neither. And also next week, Mudtooth returns, and I'm going to be talking to the one and only Miss Janny Freaky. It's going to be a great interview, and can't wait for that, and can't wait for Mudtooth to be back here. And don't forget to join me this coming Tuesday night on RadioRandomNetwork.com, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listening to us from, for Backstage with #RDM. That's where I talk to indie music artists from all around the world, and I also give some insights and some marketing tips and some what to do's and what not to do. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, be sure and listen to Backstage with #RDM. All right, that's it for the day's show. I want to thank you so much for hanging with us. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting the play button every week. Mudtooth thanks you as well. For Mudtooth, for the Radio Random Network, I'm #RDM Russell Devin McLain, and we're going to holler at you next Friday. Thank you so much for listening.
For more information about the hosts, guests, or our other weekly programs, visit RadioRandomNetwork.com. Join us next week for another entertaining episode of Russell and Mudtooth. Thanks for listening.